Hi, Weenies. Okay. Happy Friday. How are y'all doing today? After all the drama that has been going down and all the drama that Phil ignores because it conveniently involves him in a negative light, so he's just gonna ignore it like a little wuss puss. Anyway, not everybody ignores drama. Not everybody is a wuss puss. And August the Duck is one of them. Yes, that's right, August the Duck has made another video about old Philly cheese. We're gonna react to it today. I watched a little bit of it, but not all of it, because I want a genuine reaction. I feel like it's gonna be good. Phil's little rant, he was really ugly to August. So let's pop off August. Y'all see Cyrax? He's not done yet, but he's getting there. He'll be with us. He'll be our co-host. You know, PPP got kicked off, but we have a co-host. And we'll be nice to them. We won't text them at 4 in the morning drunk off gin. We won't, we will take advice. Not from the real Cyrax, but from paper Cyrax, yes. We will emotionally abuse our co-host friend and kick him off the show and act like we made more money and then try to say he made more money off the show because he didn't have to half it and then complain now that he has to pay taxes on the entire thing. Whew, that's for another video, y'all. That's for a whole another video. But don't worry, paper Cyrax, you will not get treated so bad. I will treat you right. Anyways, guys, I hope y'all like the new layout I'm testing out. I'm trying different things. Okay, I'm learning. Okay, you gotta give me some time. I'm learning. I'm trying to upgrade things. I'm trying to get better at this whole entire thing. Anyways, Weenies, remember, if you like my content, like and subscribe, and let's get started. All right, guys, let's go.
I don't need anyone else to exist. I am going to ask for contributions, and you're going to like it because I'm successful and you're not. July the cuck. I'm successful.
Well, guys, one more time. Today we are once again talking about one of my favorite guys on the internet, and at least today I actually kind of have an excuse as to why I'm going back on my second promise at this point that my last video on him would, be my last.
Don't worry, August. I remember my first video that I made on this channel about Phil, calling him out for being an abuser. I said I'm just gonna make one video. It's not gonna be a big deal. It's never your last. Trust me. It's nobody's judging you. Trust me.
Alright, people, we are once again talking about the world's most grateful streamer, Darkside Phil. Now, I really wasn't planning on making this video. I got tagged in some clips on Twitter of DSP responding to me, calling me out, whatever you want to call it, and I was out and about, so I didn't sit down and watch them, and I sort of just forgot about it for a while. But then, later that night, I was like, you know what? Let's take a look. Let's see what he has to say. And, shit, he sucked me back in, guys. He got me. I'll admit it. So here we are. Now, if you're unaware of the context, about a week ago, I made a video on DSP. If you don't know who DSP is, I would just go watch that video. But I made a video on him because he was mocking a donator for donating an amount that Phil deemed just to not be enough. And I titled that video, "The World's Greediest Streamer Got Worse." And, well, I think Phil saw it because he went on a little rant, or really kind of a big rant on stream, where he mentions somebody named July the Cuck. Don't know who that guy is. Sounds pretty cool, though.
I love you, August.
And, well, he does what Phil is best known for. He lies to himself, he lies to his audience, he circumnavigates every piece of criticism that's ever thrown his way, and he just sits there and he copes. He copes and copes and copes and copes until, honestly, I think he starts to believe himself. And I could just let him do that, not like I can make him stop. He's always going to do that. But
Phil is so far into his own delusions. He's too far gone. It's a lost cause. And at this point, there's no saving him, there's no helping him, there's no making him aware. At this point, it's just pointing a finger and laughing at him because now we know that's what gets to him. He doesn't deserve to have a peaceful life after what he has put so many people through. So.
God, man, the shit he said was just so unbelievably wrong that I've just got to go back one more time, guys. Now,
Everything he says is unbelievably wrong. I can't remember the last right thing that Phil has ever said. I can't think of it. I would have to go back and look and think. Okay, I get that. Yeah, okay. Like, okay.
I'm going to do my best to be as cordial and constructive as I possibly can be throughout this video, because Phil seems to have a habit of downplaying literally anything that is ever said about him that has the slightest negative connotation as hate, as people being mean to him, not understanding him, content farming him. So I'm going to try and be as constructive as I can be. I usually am pretty constructive on this channel, so it's not going to be like a challenge, but it is Phil, so, we'll see. Let's not waste any more time, though. Let's take a look at this rant. Please subscribe. Okay, so real quick, I'm not going to show it because it's like 20 minutes, but what seems to have led Phil to talking about me was he poses this thought experiment where he says, okay, I have 3 paths in front of me, for his future as a content creator. He says the first one is where he becomes a corporate shill, he sells out, he takes sponsorships, he has to completely change his content style, he can never be honest again, because I guess Phil thinks if you take a Raid Shadow Legends advertisement or something, they're gonna monitor your stream for the rest of your life and never let you talk bad about a game or be honest or be edgy or anything like that. Obviously, that's just an excuse to not go down that path. Phil doesn't really think that, but he says he doesn't want to take sponsorships because he doesn't want to sell out, because it's somehow going to completely change every single thing about his content if he takes an occasional sponsor.
I just saw this comment from Jade in the chat right here. It says, "Ask Quake well." Jade, gosh, don't be nasty. God, I have it time go all the time, I guess.
Sponsorship. Then he says path 2 is fully embracing the drama, going on podcast, addressing all the hate, attacking people who attack him, attacking people who didn't attack him, really diving into the drama heavy side of the internet. Now, while he's saying all this, his chat is like, yeah, those paths sound great, sound a lot better than what you're doing right now. Of course, he just completely ignores that because he's not actually considering these paths, he's just trying to excuse his behavior, because he says his third path is basically just continuing to do what he does, listening to the constructive criticism of his audience, which he is actively ignoring as he's talking about this, doesn't address a single thing anybody says about these paths, and guess what? Continue doing what he's doing. He won't take sponsorships, and he won't dive into the drama, so what does he have to do to make money? Oh, he has to beg his audience. Then he says, is that really that big of a deal? Is it really that bad to ask his audience for money? He says, is what I'm doing that bad? He doesn't mention them by name, but he brings up, I'm pretty sure, Logan Paul and his crypto scam, then Mr. Beast and making the Lunchleys and the Feastable bars, and then Boogie for faking cancer. As a comparison, I guess, to say, look at what these guys did, it's a lot worse than begging your audience for money. Which, yeah, obviously it is. And that's how we got to this.
We've got actual creators on the internet making documentaries about me saying, I'm the greediest creator? Are you fucking kidding me? Have you ever watched anyone else, you pathetic fucking schlub? You are so...
Now, I know August says something about this. And as soon as he had said this, I thought the same thing. That when you're trying to manipulate people to make you think, or to make them think that you're not a bad guy, you're like, well, look at this guy. He did something way worse. Yeah, look at this guy. He did a mass shooting at this place. Me, I only killed one guy. Doesn't make you not a bad person. You're still a bad person. Maybe not on the same level, sure, but you're still a really big piece of shit. Your manipulation don't work on everybody, dude.
Lame. Because you take the low-hanging fruit, the easy target that everyone's already targeted, to make a worthless fucking video that rehashes the same shit and just ignores the fact that there are people 47 times worse than me who actively hurt people on a fucking daily basis.
Okay, so let's talk about this criticism. So it seems like what Phil is implying here is because he's not the worst human on planet Earth, that he should never be criticized. He falls into the mindset that a lot of losers tend to, where they think that as long as they're not the worst person walking the planet, criticism against them is not valid. That as long as there's somebody worse to criticize, that none of it should be directed towards them. Now, if I need to explain to you why that mindset is not a good one, you're a lost cause. I'm not even going to waste my time, but I find it funny that DSP brought up crypto scams, Mr. Beast and the Lunchleys, and Boogie, because those are 3 topics I have talked about endlessly. Boogie not so much as the other 2, but influencers and content creators who resort to crypto scams and Mr. Beast, I have criticized those 2 things far, far, far more frequently than I've criticized Phil. And
That's the thing about Phil, is that he criticizes and criticizes and criticizes and develops an opinion off of complete ignorance. He will not look at your videos, August. He doesn't. He literally based his opinions off of what little bit he probably watched of your video. He's not educated. Not educated in anything. Yeah, he has a college degree, but I don't know how he must have, for that, because that is not, no. He has this thing where I think that he just loves to make himself look stupid, because at this point it's just endless, and that's why he's a lolcow. He doesn't look into anything, just bases an opinion, says that opinion no matter how stupid it makes him look, and then never apologizes for it. It's gross.
I've gone into depth on those. The few videos I've made on Phil have been like half jokes. I don't think what he's doing matters that much in the grand scheme of things compared to like a big content creator pulling a crypto scam, or Mr. Beast hiring criminals or exploiting people. DSP pathetically begging for money is not nearly as big of a deal as those two things, but I still think Phil is ridiculously greedy. This might be a hard to swallow pill, Phil, but just because you're not the only greedy content creator doesn't mean you're not one. Also, since this is obviously what you're hung up on, I'll address it. Me calling you the world's greediest streamer while those people exist. First of all, Mr. Beast isn't a streamer. Most of the crypto scam people I've talked about aren't streamers. And, well, I think you're greedier than Boogie, so, there's that. Obviously, you're probably not the world's greediest person, Phil, but I think of known content creators, like people who actually have somewhat of a name on the internet. I don't know, man, you're up there. Not only have I never seen another streamer beg like you do, I've never seen somebody be so fucking ungrateful when their begging works. People on chat and people on Twitter were talking about how you made like $1,200 in a single stream this week, and you're still complaining about not hitting goals? Yeah, dude, you're pretty fucking greedy.
To get ahead. But somehow,
Oh yeah, snaps August, because he's been called out by this before by Iron Chef, before his little self came back to him the second time. Iron Chef literally told him, I could give you $1,000 now and you would change the goal and beg for more, beg for the next goal. Like, it never ends. His greed never ends because he has a spending addiction. He can't stop himself. The life that he leads has to be funded by others, because he is so incapable at this point of doing anything else. He's desperate. You can literally smell the desperation from behind the screen. You have anything to say?
You know damn well you don't want me on the internet because you don't like me.
Very good.
I'm the greediest person on the internet. Get fucked, you disingenuous fucking loser who has no idea how to actually make a documentary.
Phil, where the fuck are you getting the word documentary? I made like a 10-minute long video on you where I talked about a 3-minute clip. I didn't make a documentary on you. Why can you never just address the point? Like, are you even aware that you're doing this? You attack things or you address things that don't actually exist, that like can't be argued, instead of addressing what I actually said about you. What are you talking about, man?
What a fucking loser schlub to pull my name out of the hat and say I'm the greedy guy. You're nuts.
I pulled your name out of the hat, Phil, because you are a greedy guy. Objectively. There's no two ways about it. Objectively, you are a greedy individual. You have genuinely convinced yourself as a 42-year-old man that it is the responsibility of your fans and your viewers to fund your life. You can go get a different job, Phil. Nobody's stopping you. You have convinced yourself that you are entitled to the life of a man who sits on the internet all day and demands money from strangers. I don't know how you've done it, but you have. You are greedy. Can you imagine if somebody walked up to you on the street and said, hey, I want to get your opinion on something. I'm thinking about quitting my day job. I'm going to go to Best Buy, buy a camera, and then I'm going to go onto the internet and hold my content, hold my gameplay hostage. I'm going to say, look, guys, if we don't hit the goals for today, we're not playing games, we're not doing streams. People would look at you like you lost your fucking mind. And that's what you do for a living, Phil. You are.
Do you know what Phil would say if somebody told him they were going to do that? I don't care. I don't care. That's none of my business. As long, nobody else stays in my business, so I stay out of theirs. He's such a manipulator. And I know that if he watches a little bit of this, again, just like August said, he's not going to address the point. He doesn't even see the point because he's so delusional. His head is so stuck up his ass. It's almost coming all the way back out the other end. It's like actually crazy. He doesn't see what he's doing is wrong. He doesn't see it. He has always felt entitled to these people's money. He has always felt entitled that they need to support him because he provides content, meaningful content, good content, and I'm successful. It's like, Phil, you're hitting all the points. You're hitting all the points. Thank you for that.
are not entitled to these people's money, but you have tricked yourself into thinking you are. Maybe that's why you don't think you're greedy, because you're living a fantasy. The more I watch you, the more I begin to think that you actually believe that somehow you are entitled for this lifestyle to continue in perpetuity, that it's genuinely somehow the responsibility of other people to pay your bills. Sitting here with a straight face as a grown man saying how you only have 3 paths in life, and they're all on the internet streaming. Dude, you have hundreds of paths, and they all start on Indeed.com.
I've tried to do things different.
That part. Like, bro, you have a business degree. You could get a job as, like, oh, God forbid, but he could be an HR representative. Like, that is a really good, high paying job. He could be an office manager. This is not a proper use of a business degree, Phil. It's honestly pathetic. You wasted your time. You wasted your time. You're not smart. Like I said, I don't know how you have that degree because, a lot of people like him when they're book smart, they have like zero common sense. That's Phil. He may be able to like do like basic book smarts, but when it comes to any kind of common sense or self-awareness, zero.
Why I feel like my path can work, but it requires people to actually have some independent thought, to not listen to fucking morons who are constantly just crapping on stuff, using it for personal gain. Phil's the worst guy on the internet. Dude, there is no one who can legitimately look at me and my content and say that I am the worst guy on the internet, period. It's just not possible.
Wow, really brave, Phil. I'm proud of you. Yeah, you're probably not the worst guy on the internet. I will not argue with you on that one. Glad we could find some common ground. You are
There we go. Something that we can agree on because Phil, you're right. There are some nasty, terrible people on this internet. Not you, friend. Not you, but the person you're based off of, okay? So don't take that personal. Chill out. Jeez. You don't gotta be so rude. Moody. Moody? We okay?
Shit, you fucking bitch ass
You
cunt.
okay? Alright, we're good now. Again, I'm sure August is gonna say it. That doesn't make what you do okay, Phil. That doesn't make what you do okay. That's like comparing manslaughter to a second degree murder. It's like, yeah, one's worse than the other, but it's still not okay.
not the worst person on the entirety of the internet. Doesn't mean you're a good one, though. Again, you go to extremes, you go to things that can't be argued to try and defend yourself, instead of addressing the things that people actually say about you.
To anyone who is a disingenuous liar who has no content and relies on trying to make fun of memes on the internet to make content. I want you to think about that. I sit here and I grind every day to put out content for you, whether it's gaming news, a podcast, just hanging out and having a conversation, playing a game, doing other things outside the box, whatever it is. It's definitely content. All right? I don't just make my content talking about other people's content. I make original content. That's way harder. Because if you don't make your original content, you just suck on everyone else. You're a fucking parasite. I don't need anyone else to exist. I don't need anyone else to exist. I don't need anyone else to exist. I don't need anyone else to exist.
Sorry, wanted to let that one marinate. The man who begs and begs and begs and begs and pleads and begs and begs and pleads his audience that only exists to make fun of him doesn't need anybody else to exist. Have we ever heard a more tone-deaf and less self-aware statement ever? I think that one might take the crown, people. Secondly, let's address the criticism on commentary content. Yeah, nobody in their right mind would defend commentary content, the kind of content I make, as something that is super high effort. I've said many times before, what I do for a living is pretty easy. I'm extremely grateful and I'm extremely happy that I get to do what I love for a job. And yes, objectively, making original content, as in content where you bring a brand new idea to the internet all on your own, a video where you do everything from scratch, you bring the idea to fruition all by yourself, is way harder than me talking about a TikTok video or Twitter drama or a streamer like Phil. What I'm not gonna let you say though, Phil, is that what you do is somehow harder. Sure, we can say that you make original content and that you just don't talk about other people, even though you do that a lot. We can ignore that though. If you're gonna sit here and tell me that sitting down and giving your reaction to a video game is any harder than sitting down and giving your reaction to a video, you're lying to yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Phil acts like his content doesn't rely on other things. What would your podcast be about? Because your podcast is primarily gaming news. So if you think about it, you're waiting for others to do the research and you're just reading their articles.
They are basically the same thing. And I'm going to be honest with you, Phil, after watching some of your streams, I'm going to say that what you do is easier. It doesn't seem like you even take the time to get good at the games you play. You're subpar at basically everything that I saw at best. And 9 out of 10 times, the only thing you're doing is sitting there in complete silence or complaining about how it's the game's fault that you died. I clicked a random stream on Phil's channel. I'm going to pick a random 5-minute segment from the stream, and I'm going to show you guys every time he says something in 5 minutes. I will give you the stream title and I'll give you the timestamps so you can go check me if you think I'm lying. This is best kill streak ever as I grind for the splinter skin.
Oh my god. Yes. See, Phil would never put this kind of effort in. He acts like, oh, what I do is so hard. Dude, you don't even edit your videos. Okay? Like this video right now is probably going to take me 2.5 hours to edit because I actually put effort into my video. For Phil to try to say that what he does is hard and he grinds, he literally sits, records, doesn't put any effort into getting better at the game, like August said. He literally will ask his audience how to play the game the entire time. He is, and then doesn't put any effort into editing his videos. He will literally just stop the stream when he has to beg and then restart the recording. That's his editing. Like, he's pathetic. So let's continue into this.
In Part 74, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 multiplayer, 9 minutes to 14 minutes. This is everything he says.
Went the wrong way. It didn't kill him. The Semtex blew up on his body, which I pushed him into it, and he didn't die from it. Wow. How did he spawn? Oh, my lord, he spawned behind me. Oh. He sniped through the smoke. But then I got him with a Semtex. What on earth? Wow. Why was there a mine? How did I walk through the mine, start capturing the thing, and then the mine went off? What? Nothing. I clicked. Absolutely no response, as if I had never clicked. Wow. Terrible. What? Okay, no death for no reason. Oh, it's my teammate. Cool.
He just slapped that fool in the back.
Watchdog coming. Here we go. That made no sense. Do we each have a chopper? What the hell? This is insane.
37 seconds of original content in 5 minutes, and all he talks about in those 37 seconds is how it's the game's fault for every single time that he dies. This one's my favorite.
That made no sense.
My brother in Christ, what do you mean that doesn't make any sense? You were literally blocking the bullets with your face. Bullets are pretty bad for the human body, even in video game form. So
I just love that he calls Phil brother in Christ because I always call him that. But also, now that we know the religious shit that we know, perfection.
Yeah, calling this original content is kind of fucking wild. You're not even interacting with your chat. You're just sitting there in silence, only talking when you die. That's basically what you do when you play a video game off stream. What you're doing is not making content. So sure, talk all you want about how commentary content is not that hard to make, but do not trick yourself for a minute, Phil, that you're working any harder.
I exist in the center of this weird universe, and this parasite vortex exists around me. If I turn off my camera and never broadcast again, 1,000 people have nothing to do tomorrow. So every one of them can get fucked. None of what you say matters. None of your criticism is valid. You're a bunch of fucking loser lowlifes, and you don't mean anything to me.
Putting on this big tough man act when tomorrow you're just going to go right back to begging your audience to give you money so you can continue to play games instead of getting a real job? Kind of a bad look, bud.
And yes, I am going to make money. I am going to ask for contributions, and you're going to like it because I'm successful and you're not. Because success doesn't mean you steal success from someone else. It means you make it for yourself, which is what I have always done and you could never do because you don't have talent. Get it? Anyone who relies on me to make their content has no talent. If anyone wants to argue with that, why don't you make some content for your own and show me how fucking successful it does? Like some of these no-loads who actually did try. Oh, I'm going to play games like Phil does. Oh, I'm going to do a stream like he does. Oh, I'm going to do this. And then you fail, you fail, you fail, you fail. Why doesn't July the Cuck make a fucking piece of content for himself that's not making fun or deriding or trying to bring down someone else and see how it does? because it ain't gonna fucking work.
You know, for a whiny man baby who spends a lot of his time complaining that people don't do enough research or really know what they're talking about before opening their mouth, you sure do it a lot, Phil. Now, we don't have to go view for review here, buddy, but I actually do have 2 other channels other than this one. One is a gaming channel called Duck the August, and one is a channel where I shoot guns and shit called The Ballistic Bird. I uploaded the gaming channel like once every 2 months, maybe. I don't upload to the gun channel anymore because where I used to film them, the zoning laws changed, so I can't shoot there anymore, unfortunately. But I think these 2 channels would fall under your definition of original content. And not to be that guy because it's kind of a douchey thing to say, but I mean, you brought it up. My videos on those channels outperform yours hundreds of times over. Not to mention, you know, the countless number of non-commentary videos I've made on this channel. So what now, Phil? How are you gonna weasel your way out of this one, pal? You state with your full chest out, big boy moment for you, that if I try those things, they're not gonna work, and objectively, you are wrong, bud. You are fully 100% just talking out of your ass to try and make yourself feel better. Just gonna try and circumnavigate a bit more, ignore and dodge any criticism sent your way like you're so good at doing. Is that just always your plan? Sure seems like it, bud. Well, guys, what do you think? Do you think Phil will ever possess the ability to be honest with himself? Have a moment of positive self-reflection? It seems unlikely. Usually I don't really respond to stuff like this, but like I was saying at the beginning of the video, the shit this guy says is just so far from reality that I feel a need like in my bones to correct the guy. It's bad. Especially when it's shit about me. Yeah, I can't let that slide. Not from Phil. I'm sorry, not from Phil. Hopefully the guy can get his shit together. He won't, but I mean, we can try and be the bigger person. Hope for the best for him, right? Seems kind of pointless, but trying to beat the parasite cuck allegations, so I wish you the best, Phil. See ya.
Wow, guys, I couldn't even interrupt. I couldn't interrupt him at all during that last part because, like, honestly, no, Phil will not apologize. No, Phil will not get himself together. Like I said before, he is too far gone. He is way too deep into his own delusions. How he's acting with PPP has shown that, especially. And he's not going to hear your criticism. All he's going to hear is negative, 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 and he's going to hate you for it. And he's going to talk shit about it again, more than likely. I don't know. He's been kind of cowardly lately, ever since this PPP stuff has popped up. He's like, I'm done with drama. I'm done with drama. It's like, how convenient to be done with drama when it's all about you, when you're the center of the negativity. Of course, you don't want to go in on that, Phil, because then it's going to make your little ego get crushed just enough for it to actually hurt. How about you go down another bottle of gin, Phil? Who are you going to text at 4 in the morning, though? I don't know. Maybe actually try talking to your wife. Or I don't know, since y'all religious, pray. Find Jesus. Say your Hail Marys. Let us pray. Let us pray. Paper Cyrex. We're gonna pray. Okay, ready? Hail Mary, full of grace. Give us our day. Give us this day our goals. But yeah, guys, that was the August the Duck response video, and it was glorious. And if you haven't subscribed to August the Duck, the link to the video is in my description. 100% give it a view, please, because it's phenomenal. But we thank you guys. Do you have anything to say, Paper Cyrax? Agreed. I hope y'all have an amazing day, Weenies, an amazing weekend. More Phil content to come. Just new stuff keeps coming up. The content is, we're milking it right now. We're milking him dry. It's never ending. It's never ending. And it's wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for your endless support. And remember, in the description, a link to my Patreon if you want to look at that and see if the perks or anything you'd be interested in. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, Weenies.